The Wisdom of Failure, How Mistakes Shape Success, written and published by Audiobooks. Chapter 1. Embracing Imperfection. We live in a world that often celebrates perfection. We see it in glossy magazine covers, social media posts, and even in the stories we tell ourselves. The idea of perfection seems to be everywhere, whispering in our ears that we must strive to be flawless. But the truth is, perfection is a myth, and chasing it can leave us feeling exhausted, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Embracing imperfection means accepting that we are human, with all our flaws, mistakes, and quirks. It's about recognizing that life isn't about getting everything right. It's about learning, growing, and becoming better through our experiences, especially the ones that don't go as planned. When we allow ourselves to embrace imperfection, we open the door to a more authentic and fulfilling life. One of the first steps in embracing imperfection is letting go of the fear of failure. Many of us are so afraid of making mistakes that we hold ourselves back from trying new things or taking risks. We worry that if we fail, others will judge us, or worse, we'll judge ourselves. But failure is not the end of the road, it's a crucial part of the journey. Every mistake we make is a lesson in disguise, an opportunity to learn something new and to grow as individuals. Think about it. When we were children, we didn't worry about making mistakes. We fell down when learning to walk, we stumbled over words when learning to speak, and we colored outside the lines without a second thought. As children, we understood that mistakes were a natural part of learning. But as we grow older, we become more self-conscious and start to believe that mistakes are something to be avoided. In reality, they are stepping stones to success. Another important aspect of embracing imperfection is being kind to ourselves. We can be our own worst critics, constantly pointing out our flaws and shortcomings. But this negative self-talk doesn't help us grow, it only holds us back. Instead of focusing on what we did wrong, we should focus on what we learned and how we can improve. Being kind to ourselves means acknowledging our efforts, celebrating our progress, and understanding that it's okay to be imperfect. Embracing imperfection also allows us to connect more deeply with others. When we let go of the need to appear perfect, we become more authentic, and others can relate to us on a more genuine level. We all have flaws and struggles, and by sharing our imperfections, we create a space for others to do the same. This vulnerability builds trust, strengthens relationships, and fosters a sense of community. Moreover, when we embrace our imperfections, we become more resilient. Life is full of challenges, and things don't always go according to plan. But when we accept that it's okay to make mistakes, we become better equipped to handle setbacks. We learn to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and keep moving forward, knowing that each stumble is just a part of the process. In the end, embracing imperfection is about finding peace with who we are, rather than striving to be someone we're not. It's about understanding that our worth isn't determined by our mistakes or shortcomings, but by our willingness to keep growing and learning. It's about realizing that life is messy, unpredictable, and beautifully imperfect, and that's what makes it so special. Chapter 2. The Art of Resilience. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect it. Whether it's a personal setback, a professional failure, or an unexpected challenge, we all face moments when things don't go according to plan. In these moments, resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, becomes our greatest strength. But resilience isn't just something we're born with, it's a skill that can be cultivated and strengthened over time. At its core, resilience is about how we respond to life's difficulties. It's not about avoiding challenges or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. Instead, it's about facing those challenges head-on, adapting to the situation, and finding a way to move forward, even when things seem tough. Resilience is like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. One of the first steps in building resilience is shifting our mindset. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when things go wrong, but resilience requires us to see setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than as roadblocks. This doesn't mean we should ignore our feelings or pretend that everything is fine when it's not. It's okay to feel disappointed, sad, or frustrated. But once we've acknowledged those emotions, we need to ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? And how can I grow from this experience? By focusing on what we can control, our actions and our mindset, we empower ourselves to navigate challenges more effectively. Resilience also involves being adaptable. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes we need to change our plans or adjust our expectations. This can be difficult, especially if we've worked hard toward a particular goal, only to have it slip out of reach. But adaptability is key to resilience. When we're willing to pivot and explore new possibilities, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and solutions that we might not have considered before. Another important aspect of resilience is maintaining a sense of perspective. When we're in the middle of a challenging situation, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We might feel like the setback we're facing is the end of the world. But resilience requires us to take a step back and remind ourselves that challenges are a natural part of life. They don't define us, and they certainly don't have to determine our future. By keeping things in perspective, we can prevent ourselves from getting stuck in a cycle of negativity and self-doubt. Support from others also plays a crucial role in resilience. We don't have to go through tough times alone. Whether it's family, friends, or a mentor, having a support system can make all the difference. Talking about our struggles with someone we trust can help us process our emotions, gain new insights, and find the strength to keep going. Resilience doesn't mean we have to be strong all the time. It's okay to lean on others when we need it. Taking care of ourselves, both physically and emotionally, is another key to resilience. When we're faced with challenges, it's easy to neglect our well-being. But resilience requires us to take care of ourselves so that we have the energy and clarity to navigate tough times. This means getting enough rest, eating well, exercising, and finding ways to relax and recharge. It also means being kind to ourselves and giving ourselves permission to feel whatever we're feeling without judgment. Resilience is also about perseverance, the determination to keep going, even when things get tough. It's about setting small, manageable goals and taking things one step at a time. We might not be able to solve everything overnight, but by focusing on what we can do today, we can gradually make progress. Each small step forward is a victory in itself and brings us closer to overcoming the challenge at hand. Ultimately, resilience is about believing in our ability to overcome difficulties. It's about trusting that we have the strength, the creativity, and the resourcefulness to navigate whatever life throws our way. This belief doesn't mean we won't face challenges or that everything will always work out perfectly. But it does mean that we have the power to choose how we respond to those challenges, and that choice can make all the difference. Chapter 3: Learning Through Loss. Loss is one of the most challenging experiences we face in life. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a job, a relationship, or even a cherished dream, the pain can feel overwhelming. It's natural to want to avoid loss, to protect ourselves from the heartache and sorrow that comes with it. But loss is an inevitable part of life, and as difficult as it may be, it can also be a powerful teacher. Learning through loss means finding meaning in our pain and using it to grow and evolve. It's about recognizing that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This doesn't mean minimizing the pain or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. Instead, it's about allowing ourselves to feel the emotions that come with loss, and then gradually finding a way to move forward. The first step in learning through loss is giving ourselves permission to grieve. Grief is a natural and necessary process that allows us to process our emotions and begin to heal. It's important to understand that there's no right or wrong way to grieve, and everyone's experience is unique. Some days the pain might feel all-consuming, while other days we might feel a bit of relief. It's okay to experience a range of emotions, from sadness and anger to confusion and even moments of joy. Grieving is not a linear process, and it takes time. As we navigate our grief, it can be helpful to reflect on what we've lost and what it meant to us. Loss often brings up feelings of regret, guilt, or questions about what we could have done differently. While it's natural to have these thoughts, it's important not to dwell on them. Instead, we can use this reflection as an opportunity to learn more about ourselves and our values. What did this person, job, or dream mean to us? What did it teach us about ourselves and our lives? By exploring these questions, we can begin to uncover the lessons that loss has to offer. One of the most valuable lessons loss can teach us is the importance of appreciating what we have while we have it. Often, it's not until something is gone that we realize how much it meant to us. Loss reminds us of the fleeting nature of life and the importance of being present in the moment. It encourages us to cherish our relationships, pursue our passions, and live fully, knowing that nothing is guaranteed. In this way, loss can inspire us to live with greater intention and gratitude. Loss also teaches us about resilience. When we experience loss, it can feel like our world has been turned upside down. But over time, we begin to rebuild, finding new ways to move forward. This process of rebuilding is a testament to our resilience, the inner strength that allows us to endure hardship and come out the other side. While we may never get over a significant loss, we can learn to carry it with us in a way that honors what we've lost while still allowing us to live fully. Another lesson that loss can teach us is the importance of compassion, both for ourselves and for others. When we go through a difficult loss, we realize how much pain others might be carrying as well. This understanding can deepen our empathy and our ability to connect with others. It can also help us be kinder to ourselves as we navigate our grief. Instead of expecting ourselves to move on quickly, we can offer ourselves the same compassion we would offer to a friend going through a similar experience. Loss can also lead to personal growth and transformation. While it may seem impossible in the midst of our pain, loss can sometimes open up new opportunities or perspectives that we hadn't considered before. It can lead us to reevaluate our priorities, explore new interests, or make changes in our lives that better align with our values. In this way, loss can be a catalyst for positive change, even if it doesn't feel that way at first. Finally, learning through loss involves finding a way to honor what we've lost while still moving forward. This might involve creating rituals or traditions that keep the memory of a loved one alive, finding new ways to pursue a dream that didn't work out, or simply carrying the lessons we've learned into the next chapter of our lives. Honoring our loss allows us to hold on to what was meaningful while also embracing the future. Chapter 4. Redefining Success. Success is a word that carries a lot of weight. From a young age, we're taught to chase success, to strive for it in everything we do. But what does success really mean? For many, it's defined by external markers: money, status, achievements, and the approval of others. We're told that success looks like a high-paying job, a big house, a fancy car, or the recognition of our peers. But is that all there is to it? Is success really just about checking off these boxes? The truth is, success means different things to different people, and it's worth taking the time to redefine what success looks like for us as individuals. It's easy to get caught up in society's definition of success, but what truly matters is how we define it for ourselves. When we take a step back and reflect on what success means to us, we often find that it's not just about external achievements, it's about something deeper and more personal. One of the first steps in redefining success is to ask ourselves what truly makes us happy. It's easy to chase after goals that society tells us are important, but if those goals don't bring us joy or fulfillment, are they really worth pursuing? Success should be about living a life that aligns with our values and passions, not just meeting someone else's expectations. For some, success might mean having a fulfilling career, but for others, it might mean spending time with family, pursuing a creative passion, or making a positive impact on the world. When we redefine success, it's also important to consider our well-being. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to equate success with busyness and stress. We might think that the more we work, the more successful we'll be, but true success isn't about burning ourselves out. It's about finding balance and taking care of our physical, mental, and emotional health. After all, what good is success if it comes at the expense of our well-being? Redefining success means prioritizing self-care and making time for the things that nourish us, whether it's spending time in nature, practicing mindfulness, or simply taking a break when we need it. Another important aspect of redefining success is understanding that it's not a destination but a journey. We often think of success as a point we'll reach someday, a point where we'll finally have everything we want and be completely satisfied. But life doesn't work that way. Success is not a finish line, it's a continuous process of growth and learning. When we redefine success, we realize that it's about enjoying the journey and finding meaning in the everyday moments. It's about setting goals and working towards them, but also being open to change and new opportunities along the way. Redefining success also involves letting go of the need for external validation. It's natural to want recognition for our achievements, but true success comes from within. It's about being proud of who we are and what we've accomplished, regardless of whether others acknowledge it. When we stop seeking approval from others and start focusing on our own sense of fulfillment, we free ourselves from the pressure to conform to society's definition of success. One of the most powerful ways to redefine success is to focus on the impact we have on others. Success is not just about what we achieve for ourselves, it's also about how we contribute to the well-being of others. Whether it's through our work, our relationships, or our community, making a positive difference in the lives of others can bring a deep sense of satisfaction and purpose. When we redefine success in terms of service and connection, we find that it's not just about what we get, but what we give. Finally, redefining success means embracing our unique journey. No two people's paths are the same, and that's okay. We all have different strengths, challenges, and dreams, and our definition of success should reflect that. It's easy to compare ourselves to others and feel like we're falling short, but success is not about being better than someone else, it's about being the best version of ourselves. When we redefine success on our own terms, we give ourselves permission to pursue the life that truly makes us happy, without worrying about what others think. Chapter 5: The Growth Mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as obstacles to avoid. When we have a growth mindset, we understand that failure isn't the end, it's just a step along the way to success. Imagine a child learning to ride a bike. The first few tries might end in wobbles and falls, but with each attempt, the child gets a little better. They might scrape a knee or feel frustrated, but they keep going because they believe they can improve. This is the essence of a growth mindset, believing that with time and effort, they'll succeed, and eventually, they do. But a growth mindset isn't just for kids learning new skills, it's something we can all embrace in our lives. Whether we're trying to advance in our careers, learn a new hobby, or improve our relationships, having a growth mindset can make all the difference. It's the difference between thinking, "I'm just not good at this," and "I can get better if I keep trying." One of the key aspects of a growth mindset is seeing mistakes as learning opportunities. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned, but those setbacks can teach us valuable lessons. Instead of beating ourselves up over mistakes, we can ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I do better next time?" By approaching challenges with curiosity rather than fear, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. Another important part of the growth mindset is embracing effort. In a fixed mindset, people might think that if something doesn't come easily, it's not worth pursuing. But with a growth mindset, we understand that effort is the path to mastery. It's okay if something is hard at first. That's how we grow. Every time we push ourselves to try something new, we're stretching our abilities and expanding what we're capable of. It's also helpful to recognize that progress often comes in small steps. We might not see huge improvements overnight, but with consistent effort, we get better bit by bit. This requires patience and perseverance, but the results are worth it. When we look back at how far we've come, we can see the progress we've made, even if it was slow at times. A growth mindset also means being open to feedback. It can be tough to hear criticism, especially when we've worked hard on something. But feedback, whether positive or constructive, is a tool for growth. It helps us see where we can improve and encourages us to keep striving. Instead of taking feedback personally, we can view it as a gift, an opportunity to get better. One of the most powerful aspects of a growth mindset is that it frees us from the fear of failure. When we believe that we can grow and improve, failure becomes less intimidating. It's no longer something to be avoided at all costs, but rather a part of the journey. We understand that everyone fails at some point, and it's those who keep going despite setbacks who ultimately succeed. A growth mindset also encourages us to celebrate the success of others. Instead of feeling threatened by someone else's achievements, we can see them as proof that growth is possible. We can learn from others' successes and be inspired by their journeys. This positive outlook creates a supportive environment where everyone is encouraged to do their best. Chapter 6: Overcoming Fear of Failure. Fear of failure is something that almost everyone experiences at some point in their life. It's that nagging voice in the back of our minds that tells us we might not be good enough, that we might mess up, or that we might fall short of our goals. This fear can be paralyzing, holding us back from taking risks, trying new things, or even pursuing our dreams. But what if we could learn to overcome this fear? What if we could embrace failure as a natural part of life and see it as an opportunity for growth? The first step in overcoming the fear of failure is to understand that failure is not a reflection of our worth. Just because we fail at something doesn't mean we're failures as individuals. It simply means that we tried something that didn't work out the way we hoped. Failure is a part of life, and it happens to everyone. When we realize that failure is not a judgment on who we are, we can start to let go of the shame and self-doubt that often accompany it. Another important aspect of overcoming the fear of failure is to reframe how we think about failure itself. Instead of seeing it as something to be avoided at all costs, we can begin to see it as a valuable learning experience. Every time we fail, we have the chance to learn something new about ourselves, about the task at hand, and about what doesn't work. This knowledge is incredibly valuable and can help us make better decisions in the future. When we view failure through this lens, it becomes less scary and more like a stepping stone on the path to success. It's also helpful to remember that the most successful people in the world have often experienced the most failures. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He's famous for inventing the light bulb, but what many people don't know is that he failed thousands of times before finally getting it right. When asked about his failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset is key to overcoming the fear of failure. If we can see each failure as a step closer to success, we'll be more willing to take risks and try again. One way to start overcoming the fear of failure is to set small, achievable goals. When we break down our larger goals into smaller steps, each step feels more manageable and less intimidating. By focusing on these smaller goals, we can build confidence and momentum. Even if we encounter setbacks along the way, we can learn from them without feeling overwhelmed. Over time, as we achieve these smaller goals, our confidence grows and our fear of failure begins to diminish. Another strategy is to embrace the possibility of failure rather than trying to avoid it. This might sound counterintuitive, but when we accept that failure is a possibility, we take away its power to scare us. We can prepare ourselves mentally for the fact that things might not go as planned, and that's okay. By acknowledging the potential for failure, we reduce its ability to surprise or discourage us. Instead, we can approach our goals with a sense of curiosity and adventure, knowing that whatever happens, we'll learn and grow from the experience. It's also important to surround ourselves with a supportive environment. When we have people in our lives who encourage us, believe in us, and remind us that it's okay to fail, it becomes easier to take risks. Supportive friends, family, or mentors can help us put things in perspective and offer valuable advice when we're feeling uncertain. They can remind us that failure is a natural part of the process and that it's our perseverance that truly matters. Practicing self-compassion is another essential part of overcoming the fear of failure. When we're kind to ourselves, we're better able to handle setbacks without being overly critical. Instead of beating ourselves up when things don't go as planned, we can treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a friend. Self-compassion allows us to move forward after a failure with a sense of resilience and optimism. Lastly, it's important to keep the bigger picture in mind. When we're afraid of failure, it's easy to get caught up in the moment and lose sight of our long-term goals. But when we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, we can see that one failure, or even several, doesn't define our entire journey. Life is full of ups and downs, and each experience, whether it's a success or a failure, contributes to our growth and development. By keeping this perspective, we can approach challenges with a sense of calm and determination, knowing that each step, no matter how difficult, is part of the process. Chapter 7, Turning Setbacks into Strengths. Life is full of setbacks. Whether it's a missed opportunity, a failed project, or an unexpected challenge, setbacks can feel like a heavy weight on our shoulders. They can make us question our abilities and leave us wondering if we're on the right path. But what if these setbacks weren't just obstacles to overcome, but opportunities to grow stronger? What if, instead of seeing them as defeats, we could learn to turn them into strengths? The first step in turning setbacks into strengths is changing how we view them. It's easy to see setbacks as failures, but if we look closer, we often find that they are lessons in disguise. Each setback teaches us something valuable, whether it's about our approach, our mindset, or the situation itself. By viewing setbacks as opportunities to learn, we begin to see them as an essential part of our growth, rather than something to be avoided. Consider a time when you faced a major setback. Maybe you didn't get the job you were hoping for, or a project you worked hard on didn't succeed. At the time, it probably felt like a huge disappointment. But looking back, you might realize that this setback taught you something important. Perhaps you learned a new skill, discovered a different path, or found the strength to persevere. In this way, the setback became a stepping stone to something greater. It's also important to embrace flexibility. Setbacks often force us to change our plans, and while this can be frustrating, it's also an opportunity to explore new possibilities. Sometimes, the path we originally set out on isn't the best one, and a setback can push us to find a better way forward. By staying open to new ideas and willing to adapt, we can turn what seems like a dead end into a new beginning. Another key to turning setbacks into strengths is perseverance. Setbacks can test our determination, and it's easy to feel like giving up when things don't go as planned. But perseverance means sticking with our goals even when the going gets tough. It means reminding ourselves why we started in the first place and staying committed to our vision. When we persevere through setbacks, we build mental toughness, and we prove to ourselves that we have the strength to keep going, no matter what. Sometimes, turning a setback into a strength means asking for help. It's easy to feel like we need to handle everything on our own, but reaching out to others can provide us with valuable support and perspective. Whether it's a friend, a mentor, or a colleague, talking to someone who has been through similar challenges can help us see our setback in a new light. They might offer advice, share their own experiences, or simply listen, helping us to find the strength to move forward. It's also helpful to reflect on past setbacks that we've overcome. When we look back on challenges we faced, we often realize that what once seemed impossible now feels like a small bump in the road. This perspective helps us to see that we've overcome setbacks before, and we can do it again. It reminds us of our inner strength and resilience, and it gives us the confidence to face new challenges with a positive attitude. Finally, turning setbacks into strengths is about embracing the process of growth. Growth is rarely linear. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns. Each setback we encounter is a part of that journey, and each one helps to shape who we are. When we see setbacks as opportunities to grow, we begin to appreciate the challenges we face, knowing that they are making us stronger, wiser, and more capable. Chapter 8, The Power of Persistence. Persistence is the quiet force that can turn dreams into reality. It's the determination to keep going, even when things get tough. Many people give up too soon, not realizing that success is often just around the corner. But those who persist, who keep pushing forward no matter the obstacles, eventually see the fruits of their labor. Persistence isn't about talent or luck, it's about the willingness to stick with something until you see it through. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. The path is steep, the air is thin, and every step feels harder than the last. It would be easy to turn back, to say it's too difficult, and go home. But if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, eventually you'll reach the top. The view from the summit, the sense of accomplishment, makes all the effort worth it. That's the power of persistence. It's the understanding that the journey may be hard, but the reward is worth it. Persistence often means facing failure head-on. It's not about avoiding failure, but learning from it and continuing despite it. Every successful person has encountered failure along the way. The difference is that they didn't let it stop them. They learned from their mistakes, adjusted their approach, and kept going. But persistence isn't just about grand achievements, it's also about the small, everyday challenges. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your health, or building a relationship, persistence plays a crucial role. These goals aren't achieved overnight. They require consistent effort, patience, and the willingness to keep trying, even when progress seems slow. Over time, these small, persistent efforts add up, leading to significant changes and accomplishments. One of the biggest obstacles to persistence is self-doubt. It's easy to question whether you're on the right path, especially when progress is slow. You might wonder if it's worth the effort or if you're even capable of achieving your goal. But persistence is about pushing through those doubts. It's about believing in yourself and your ability to succeed, even when things aren't going perfectly. This self-belief is crucial because it fuels your determination to keep going. Another challenge to persistence is the fear of failure. The idea of failing can be so intimidating that it stops us from even trying. But persistence requires a shift in mindset. Instead of seeing failure as something to fear, see it as a stepping stone to success. Each failure is a lesson, a way to learn what doesn't work so you can find what does. By embracing failure and continuing to move forward, you build resilience and increase your chances of success. Persistence also involves setting realistic expectations. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but persistence means understanding that good things take time. Whether it's building a business, learning a new skill, or achieving personal growth, these things require time and effort. By setting realistic expectations and being patient with yourself, you can maintain your persistence and keep moving toward your goal. Support from others can also play a key role in maintaining persistence. Surrounding yourself with positive, encouraging people can make all the difference when you're feeling discouraged. They can provide motivation, offer advice, and remind you of your progress when you're too focused on what hasn't gone right. A strong support system can help you stay persistent, even when the going gets tough. Persistence is not about never facing difficulties, it's about not letting those difficulties stop you. Life will throw challenges your way, but your response to those challenges is what determines your success. By staying persistent, you show that you're committed to your goals, no matter what obstacles arise. This commitment is what ultimately leads to success. Chapter 9. Failure as a catalyst for innovation. Failure is often seen as a negative outcome, something to be avoided at all costs. Yet, history has shown us that failure can be a powerful catalyst for innovation. When things don't go as planned, it forces us to think differently, to question our assumptions, and to find new solutions. Rather than viewing failure as the end of the road, it can be seen as a valuable opportunity to spark creativity and drive progress. Consider the world of technology. Many of the greatest innovations were born out of failure. For instance, the development of the modern light bulb wasn't a straight path to success. Thomas Edison, who is often credited with inventing it, failed thousands of times before getting it right. Each failure taught him something new about the materials and methods needed to create a working bulb. Without those failures, he wouldn't have been able to make the groundbreaking discoveries that led to his success. Failure forces us to rethink our strategies. When something doesn't work, it pushes us to analyze what went wrong and to consider alternative approaches. This process of reevaluation and adjustment is at the heart of innovation. By experimenting with different methods and ideas, we discover new ways to solve problems. For example, in the world of medicine, many treatments were developed only after previous approaches failed. Each failed attempt provided valuable insights that led to more effective solutions. The creative process is rarely smooth. It's full of trial and error, and often our initial ideas don't work out as expected. This is especially true in fields like art and design, where experimentation is key. Artists and designers frequently encounter failures as they explore new techniques and concepts. These failures aren't setbacks, but rather opportunities to learn and refine their work. Each misstep brings them closer to a breakthrough, helping them to develop unique and innovative creations. Failure also helps us to break free from conventional thinking. When we're too comfortable with our current methods and ideas, it's easy to fall into a rut. Failure shakes us out of this comfort zone, forcing us to challenge our existing beliefs and practices. It encourages us to explore uncharted territories and to think outside the box. This kind of thinking often leads to innovative solutions and breakthroughs that we might not have discovered otherwise. In many ways, failure is a teacher. It provides us with feedback that is essential for improvement. When we fail, we gain insights into what doesn't work, which helps us to make better decisions in the future. This feedback loop is a fundamental part of the innovation process. It guides us towards more effective solutions and helps us to refine our ideas. Embracing failure as a part of the innovation process also requires a shift in mindset. Instead of fearing failure, we need to view it as an opportunity for growth. This means being open to experimenting with new ideas, accepting that not every attempt will succeed, and understanding that each failure brings us closer to finding what does work. By adopting this mindset, we create an environment where innovation can thrive. Chapter 10: Building Emotional Intelligence. Emotional intelligence is like the compass that guides us through the complex landscape of our emotions and relationships. It's the ability to understand and manage our own feelings while also recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. Building emotional intelligence can lead to better relationships, improved decision-making, and a more fulfilling life. It's not something we're born with, it's a skill we can develop over time with practice and self-awareness. Let's start with understanding our own emotions. It's easy to overlook our feelings, especially when we're busy or stressed. But being aware of how we feel at any given moment is the first step in building emotional intelligence. Take a moment to pause and check in with yourself. Ask questions like, "How am I feeling right now?" or "What's driving these emotions?" By recognizing and naming our emotions, we gain better control over them and can respond more thoughtfully. Self-awareness is a crucial part of emotional intelligence. It involves understanding not just what we feel, but why we feel it. For instance, if you're feeling frustrated, it might be helpful to reflect on what's causing that frustration. Is it a specific situation, a misunderstanding, or something else? By identifying the root of our emotions, we can address the underlying issues rather than just reacting to the surface feelings. Managing our emotions is another key aspect of emotional intelligence. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring our feelings, but finding healthy ways to cope with them. For example, if you're feeling anxious about a big presentation, you might practice deep breathing, visualize a positive outcome, or break the task into smaller, manageable steps. These strategies help us to stay calm and focused, even in stressful situations. Empathy, or the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is a vital component of emotional intelligence. It's about putting ourselves in someone else's shoes and seeing things from their perspective. Empathy helps build stronger connections with others because it shows that we care about their experiences and emotions. For instance, if a friend is going through a tough time, listening to them with an open heart and without judgment demonstrates empathy and support. Effective communication is closely linked to emotional intelligence. It's not just about expressing our own feelings clearly, but also about listening and responding to others in a way that shows respect and understanding. Good communication involves both speaking and listening. When we communicate effectively, we're able to express our needs and concerns while also being open to hearing and understanding the needs of others. Building emotional intelligence also means developing strong interpersonal skills. This includes handling conflicts gracefully, managing relationships, and collaborating with others. When conflicts arise, approaching them with a calm and constructive attitude can lead to positive resolutions. By working on these skills, we enhance our ability to interact with others in a way that is both respectful and effective. Self-regulation is another important aspect of emotional intelligence. It involves managing our impulses and reactions in a way that aligns with our values and goals. For example, if you're feeling angry during a meeting, instead of reacting impulsively, you might take a deep breath, pause, and respond in a measured way. Self-regulation helps us maintain control over our emotions and ensures that we respond to situations thoughtfully rather than reactively. Developing emotional intelligence is a continuous journey. It's about being mindful of our emotions, learning from our experiences, and striving to improve our interactions with others. One effective way to enhance emotional intelligence is through regular reflection. Take time each day to think about your interactions and emotional responses. Ask yourself questions like, How did I handle that situation? And what could I do differently next time? This reflection helps us to identify areas for growth and to celebrate our progress. Another helpful practice is seeking feedback from others. Sometimes it's hard to see our own blind spots, but others can offer valuable insights. Ask trusted friends, family members, or colleagues for their perspectives on how you handle emotions in relationships. Use their feedback as a tool for growth, not criticism. It's an opportunity to learn and to become more aware of how your emotional intelligence is perceived by others. Finally, remember that building emotional intelligence takes time and effort. It's not about achieving perfection, but about making consistent progress. Be patient with yourself and recognize that developing emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey. Celebrate the small victories and keep striving to improve.